This week we're doing a reading update, otherwise known as Jump Scare.
Hi readers, I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine, the book pod where we celebrate the heroines we love
and roast the ones we don't. We'll find you the best 5-star reads, the spiciest romance, and save you from the overhyped DNFs.
If it's romance, we'll read it.
Or watch it.
We like every flavor. So grab your favorite drink and get cozy. Welcome to Season 4. Hi readers.
It's a book chat.
We needed an episode to cover everything that's been filling our brains for the last month or so.
Yes, I will say most of mine is garbage.
Mine too, so we're in the same boat.
Woohoo!
Because we consume so much media, whether it's like shows or books that don't make it into our episodes, that we just need these kind of like 3 or 4 times a year. Hey guys, this is what's going on in, entertainment land for us.
Including a very long list of DNFs.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
Because sometimes you want to do it as a pick of the week just to like, hey, y'all, don't be, catfished like we were.
But I don't want to be toxic every week. And we're DNFing so many of these fucking books.
I wish it was just the season, but I don't think it is. I think that there might be a little bit of a systemic issue going on right now.
There's something wrong in this genre and in this industry, I think.
Yeah. Well, and the world. So are we really
everything.
surprised? It just checks out.
Nothing is good right now.
No.
But we're still reading.
I'm scared. I feel like that's doubly true because I've gone back into my like Dramini, like feel good comfort phase.
It's the safety chair, like in a nice little sunlit corner where you can pretend everything is fine.
Yeah, it's like I'm just going to ignore the news for a little bit. I did not ignore the news that Sarah Maas went on the Call Her Daddy podcast.
How could you miss that?
I saw all of the little like episode clips and everything. God bless that woman because she's coming out with 2 books, like one at the end of the year and then one at the beginning of next year.
But they're connected, right?
Yeah, because I think one of them is a novella and then one is like a full-size novella for Sarah Maas is like 350
so
pages.
Full-size book,
a regular book. But I think it's ACOTAR 6 and 7. I think that sounds right. And allegedly you don't have to read the Crescent series or the Crescent Cities series to understand the next ACOTAR books, even though she has this like multiverse thing going on.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So the main character in Crescent City, Ice, she like falls through some kind of wormhole and goes into the
What?
Your face, dog, is exactly how I feel.
I thought these were completely separate worlds, which is why I have not even touched Crescent City.
Yup. Yeah. I only read the first one and then the rest I've like learned through the internet because those books were hot. Just absolutely unfucking hinged, needed to be edited, were like 1,000 pages each. But apparently, they're multiverse now. It's just pulling a Marvel.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I don't either.
I mean, good for her. She's got a brand on the level of almost on the level I would say J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, frankly, because I mean, she has like a cult following now. Like she's a bajillionaire. She posted a picture of like what I'm assuming is her house or her riding retreat. Stunning, giant, beautiful architectural mansion with big ass windows in like a, picturesque valley. Dog, she's doing good.
I mean, good for her though, because I mean, that's every writer's dream, right? You write something that you love. You hope that other people love it. And then you hope that it also makes you a fuck ton of money.
Turns it into a career.
Yeah, so good for her.
The only thing that kind of caught my interest, and I talked to Jordan a little bit about this, was that she kind of rightfully so went on a little bit of a tirade about fairy smut and kind of the like derogatory comments people have made. But she described ACOTAR and like herself as a writer as a romantic fantasy writer. And that like kind of piqued my interest. I feel like that's not a term you hear a lot.
I feel like romantic fantasy and then fantasy romance come up a lot within the genre as a, hey, if you want more fantasy, read this. If you want more romance, read this. But I think romantic fantasy is misleading for her because, I mean, at least for ACOTAR, from what I read, that entire series is driven by relationships, by romantic relationships. So what is fantasy romance or romantasy, if not that?
I have no idea. That's why it interests me. So I don't know if that was her trying to legitimacy to the fantasy aspects of her books, which I do understand, but I do feel like her plots relationship driven. So
yeah, the whole first 2 books are a fucking love triangle. I mean,
yeah. If we could get some of the like type A book talk girlies to get together and create some kind of like AO3 board, to, you know, come together as a community, we'll have some elections and we can decide, like, you know, conclusively what the titles of these genres are.
because that kind of goes into another topic that we also touched on a little bit before this, which is are happily ever afters a requirement in romantasy, or in this case, romantic fantasy or fantasy romance, whatever genre you
all
want.
of them.
And the argument, which I agree with, is that romance as an overarching genre does require happily ever afters, because that's a hallmark of the genre. Now, if you want something depressing, read some traditional George R. R. Martin fantasy, which also has romantic subplots, but no guaranteed happy.
The Red Wedding.
I mean, we can call that dragon smut too. Like,
true, there are dragons and smut.
but you don't. I mean, maybe Sarah Moss has a point here, which is how many male authors who write fantasy have their stuff labeled X, Y, and Z. They definitely have sex in their books.
Yeah.
But you don't see this kind of, dismissive disregard for the genre.
I feel like it's happening at an interesting time too, because I feel like Red Rising by, God, I don't know that guy's name, Brown something, is, I feel like, kind of getting some traction in the like male readership who see how popular and like the community that ACOTAR has created, and they're like, okay, like, where's our book? And Red Rising has kind of like filled that void. But like I know that book is probably very similar with like a romantic subplot, and I have never heard fairy smut, war smut, fantasy smut ever uttered in reference to those books. So that's interesting. You probably have a very legitimate point here.
It's just kind of sad.
Yeah, dog, for real. I feel like,
because I think genres are helpful for readers, so you know what you're getting into. Like, if I want to be depressed, I'll go watch Les Miserables.
yeah.
If I want to read a fairy and some hero with a sword and they fall in love and defeat the evil and then live happily ever after, I want to read romantasy.
Yep.
So I think decent, descriptions of the genre as the standard across the industry would be helpful for everyone. But let me tell you,
No.
I was in Barnes & Noble the other day with my partner, and I was browsing because I like to look at all the pretty books. I rarely buy new books because I don't have faith in anymore.
That's true. I haven't either.
Like, I will usually buy books I have already read that I want a hard copy of.
That's a good call.
Or, like, Alchemized was one of the exceptions, where, like, Red Manacled.
We knew.
However, I was in the fantasy section of Barnes & Noble, and I saw Kiss the Basilisk in that section. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Scare.
This belongs not only in the romance section, but maybe in the erotica section. Yeah. Not in the fantasy section. And that is completely misleading, either on the bookseller's part or on the publishing part.
Yeah.
I want to lean towards the publisher's angle.
Fucking bonkers.
Can you imagine, like, as a 14 or 15-year-old, because I was reading adult fantasy at that age, picking up Kiss the Basilisk, reading the description, like, yeah, this looks interesting. Snake dildo later.
Really? Jump scare again. It's so funny. I've been seeing these TikToks of moms like giving their books back to their like 13-year-old daughters who are like, oh, I want to like read this like book that everybody's talking about. And they've taped all of the like pages that have smut in it with like blue duct tape, and they like flip through it and they're like, what the fuck happens in this book?
Oh my God.
They just like, you know, kiss, and that's it. Like half the book is blacked out.
Oh my God.
But yeah, having Kiss of the Basilisk in the fantasy sections, that's like a crime. It's a hate crime.
And that's just an example, because I know there's tons of other books that are in the fantasy section that don't belong there.
No.
And that's nothing against the books. It's nothing against fantasy. It's not saying one's better than the other. It's just mislabeling these stories.
It's wrong. I feel like since we're talking about jump scares, I recently, and the friend that I went on this journey with listens to the podcast. Shout out to Elle.
No.
She is very deep in the Heated Rivalry fandom right now, you know, in the throes of it.
In the throes. That's the phrasing we're using for that.
Yes. Because it's like an affliction. There is a like organization that has been throwing together like nightlife club rave things that are Heated Rivalry themed, and I went to one with her.
What?
I did.
Katie, you are the most introverted person I know. Really?
Yep. And it's funny you say that because I have recently turned 30, and as Jordan said, I am a very introverted individual, and I don't know what kind of like false confidence I went into this to. Dog, we were in the like pit area. There's so many people, and like it was hot. I don't know if people who had never seen Heated Rivalry or like what. There was a lot of like messy people there. Oh my God. I disassociated.
I would hope so. It's kind of necessary when you're in those places.
I was not moving. I was standing still. I was staring at the stage where they were like just like putting a bunch of Heated Rivalry like edit videos together. And I was just watching. There's a scene in Heated Rivalry where one of the characters, Shane, who is autistic, you know, in canon, he's in a club like that and he's just staring off in the distance. And I was like, that's me.
What was Elle doing?
She was having a good time. Like, she thrives. She's an extrovert. She loves Heated Rivalry. She was having a good time. And so I feel bad that I was like having a fucking mental
frozen introvert hell.
Dog, it was so but it was fun. I like watched all the edit videos, but I have learned my lesson that I am not an extrovert. But I definitely, after, it kind of felt like brainwashing because I was like watching these videos with like without blinking or moving, and I was like, oh, like I kind of get the Heated Rivalry thing now.
Because had you seen it before you went to the event?
I saw like 5 of the 6 episodes. So I'm like almost there. But after watching them, I'm like, yeah, I get it. Just like unblinking into the void.
Okay, can you explain a little bit about what Heated Rivalry is?
Oh, dog. Yes, I can. Heated Rivalry is NHL hockey. There are 2 guys, Leah and Shane, who are kind of staged and pitted against each other as like arch rivals. And basically they have like a situationship where they will occasionally hook up. Neither of them are out gay because like the NHL is very like, you know, only closeted. There's no out hockey players. I think there might be like now 1. And so they're very like, they'll like pass each other their hotel room number as they're on the ice. And it follows like the development of their relationship as they both realize like, oh, like I have feelings for this person. I care about this person. It's very good. The cinematography, honestly, is like excellent. And it doesn't help that both like Connor Story and Hudson Williams, who are the like main actors for this,
beautiful.
Stunning. You look up Hudson Williams right now. I want a live reveal of how handsome this man is.
Oh my God.
Jordan's eyes just like bugged out of her head. Yeah.
I was initially not going to watch this show, and that changed my mind immediately.
Yep. I will say don't watch this around younger audiences because there are some explicit sex scenes. But you know what? I'm going to be frank. Eye candy, you see a lot of good looking butts, like chest, arms. You get the whole experience.
HBO, right?
Yep, HBO.
Okay, so there's your level.
Yeah.
Okay. I needed that. Thank you.
They're just so beautiful. I will say the cinematography in it is really like well put together. They had like a small budget, short like filming. And so you can really like tell that they like care about what they're putting together. Because some of these like TV series, you're like, okay, like this isn't really.
They're just cashing in on something that was already successful and not trying.
Yep. Yeah. But this like they put something in the water for this.
You and your TV shows. There's one other one on our list here that we need to cover.
I will keep it short because this is just straight up brain rot. I've been watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 4. I love that show so much. I have no fucking idea why. It's just fascinating. They're like, I'm not one of those people. And just like watching it happen, I'm like, it's like watching like wild animals almost, where it's like, y'all have never like, what is going
on? It's a different
on?
strata of society.
Yeah.
Entirely.
And they just like, 14-year-olds stuck in like a 30-year-old body. And it's like watching their relationship dynamics, them use like therapy words, but not like really
not knowing what they mean.
I recommend it though. It's good TV.
I do think I've seen a few episodes of the first season because I was intrigued. I've spent a lot of time in Utah, and so they I think they film in Park City and then some other areas.
Provo?
Yep, been there. So it was kind of cool to see those places, but seeing them through the lens of a completely different perspective was absolutely wild.
Yeah, crazy. And it's fun too, seeing how they've like made it up to season 4 because they're on like Dancing with the Stars. One of them, Whitney, she's on Broadway right now. So it's crazy seeing them like just like Utah influencer moms on TikTok too. Broadway.
Utah is a weird fucking place, but it's beautiful.
Yep. And they have really good food.
Yeah.
Delicious. Yeah. But that's all we're going to say about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Okay, I had never heard about, the name of this is All the Young Dudes?
It's a fanfic. I just got all the like news done from the internet. I'm so sorry.
I don't know half of this stuff.
I have never read All the Young Dudes, but it was just
What a title.
I know. This is just some lore, some, romantasy, or just even like publishing news. All the Young Dudes was a fanfic from probably like the early 2000s. This is like the OG Harry Potter fanfic, what started it all kind of thing, about Harry Potter's parents and the like Marauders era, basically. So this story went up for a publishing auction. So, publishers could, however much they were willing to
Can
pay.
you imagine as an author how flattering that is?
Crazy.
I made this thing. Pay me.
Crazy. Picked up for a 7-figure deal.
Holy shit balls, Batman.
Insane. And like, I get it. Like after the raging success of Manacled, like people know that this is tried and true and they have like an existing marketplace, which happened with Manacled. I'm assuming it's going to be another big thing. I've never read it, but I also don't know how it's going to be like reframed.
Because this is about the parents.
There's also, it's called Wolfstar, is the pairing between Sirius Black and Remus Lupin. That's also like a main component of this. Yeah. So with Heated Rivalry, like it's very good timing for some of these stories. So we'll see. Maybe we read All the Young Dudes and then.
Is it still available? I don't know.
We could probably find it somewhere in the echoes of the internet.
All right. We owe yet another apology to you readers. Because we promised, as we usually do, that we were going to read The Moonraven by Grace Draven. Because we love Grace Draven.
Yes.
And she has disappointed us until now. So I am about 45-50% of the way through The Moonraven.
Oh, wow. I didn't know you made it that far.
I wanted to like it so badly. So this is kind of a quick DNF pick of the week kind of review. The writing is good. And if you like Grace Draven, it's probably fine. But it is not her typical romance that she usually writes. It's a second chance romance. The characters are a little bit older, I think late 20s, early 30s. They had a thing when they were teenagers, and then they split off. The main chick got married to an asshole, and then it's kind of their story in the background of a war going on. She's got some special powers because they always do.
Of course.
But it just kind of lags once you hit 40% mark, because there's no question, I think, on the romance. There's no buildup like, okay, yeah, they had a thing. They're going to have a thing again. Yeah. We just got to get through this miscommunication. So the miscommunication starts super early in the book. And it's just, okay, we're just going to wait for this to resolve. And I don't know what's different about that pacing than any other kind of trope that we see. This just did not hit the same.
That's fair. Not to pull out the completely overused quote from Rob from the Twilight. What was that, like season
it's
1?
So perfect, though.
It's the will they, won't they? Yeah, there's no doubt. Like, there's no romantic tension. Like, and I feel like that's been missing from a lot of books that we've been DNFing recently. Is like, where's the angst?
And that's not a question of is there enough romance, because you can have a plot dominating book where it's mostly about a mystery or about a war or about some sort of insert fantasy element, and the romance can be simmering in the background for like 400 pages, but it has to simmer, and if it stops boiling, then you're fucked.
True. It like congeals to the bottom and like it's all gross. Yeah. Because I was thinking Pride and Prejudice, the entire time you have no fucking idea if they're gonna get up together, like, ever. And there's like other things that are compounding that too, where you're like, they have to get through a lot to like get together. Like, and then this like lady shows up and she's like, you're never gonna get married to him, and you're like, oh my god, they're really not gonna get married. And then they do. But that's what the tension comes from.
And this might speak to different readers too, because if you are a dominant fantasy reader, that sounded a little...
I don't love that.
No. Like that. If you prefer mostly fantasy with a light sprinkling of romance,
there we go,
then the romance probably isn't important to you, so it doesn't matter when it gets resolved. But if you are a romance reader, you better do the romance correctly, regardless of the setting.
Yeah. It's like, it's just a slog, like you said, like, okay, like, I don't know what's going on.
So really, you and I are romance readers.
We are. And I don't know why that's so surprising, but I don't know how I feel about that. Actually, Have I just been like ignorant the whole time? Because I like historical romance too.
And you like contemporary romance. I think what that probably
Wow.
speaks to is romance as a genre is so shit upon by everyone that, like, for years, like, oh, what do you like to read? How many times do people say romance? And even now,
0.
people say, oh, I like romantasy because somehow that's better.
Jordan coming out here like clocking shit. Leave me alone. Let me live in this glass house.
Sorry.
What other ones have you DNF'd for probably similar
Oh my
reasons?
God. Let me pull out my notes. Readers, I've started trying to be more diligent about the books that I'm trying and then articulating why I'm not finishing them.
That's a good idea.
Just so I have some, like, something to stand on when I, like, say, no, I just didn't read that book because it was bad. I hate that when I read reviews. This is bad. You need a reason.
Yeah.
And there's always a reason. You just have to learn how to articulate it. So I'm educating myself. I'm trying.
Lovely. Continuing education.
I have a list. All right. First off, Gods of Jade and Shadow by Sylvia Moreno-Garcia.
I've read this one. I'm interested.
Cinderella-esque, but what I couldn't do is the writing style. And it felt choppy and like tell not show. Like, oh, this happened, then this happened. And they did this thing because of this thing. And it's this very kind of juvenile writing style where I'm like, I don't need to be told what's going on.
Yeah.
Give me some foreshadowing, give me some symbolism, give me the characters feeling things rather than just doing things. And this book didn't have it. So I just DNF'd the sample. I didn't even get to it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Know your worth.
Now, this other one, it's called How to Find a Nameless Fae by A.J. Lancaster.
A.J. Lancaster.
This is on Kindle Unlimited, so expectations were low.
Oh, I've read something else by them.
I recognized the author's name, but I had never read anything by them before. So I was intrigued because this is about a 40-year-old princess who's under some sort of like Rumpelstiltskin-esque spell in typical fairyland. So she's mad. She's kind of been shoved off in the corner. No one likes her. No one hangs out with her because of her curse. And she's like, no, I'm going to go find this evil Rumpelstiltskin sorcerer fae guy who cursed me and go off into the woods and confront him.
Nice.
And it was good. The writing style was great. I didn't really have any complaints. The character was interesting. I got to the point where she met the nameless fae, and I couldn't continue.
Oh, no.
Because he had cat ears and a tail, and for some reason, all I could see were furries.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't know why I can read, like, bat wings.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know, minotaur porn.
Jump scare. Doug, we're gonna have like trigger warnings.
So many. For whatever reason, the cat ears and the tail, I could see were those like those pony boys who were like, no.
Yeah, that's a valid crash out.
It's nothing against the author or anyone who liked that book or that trope. I just could not differentiate.
That's fair.
That.
I feel like there's just some descriptions that just like,
no,
not
doing that.
No, thank you.
Okay, I've done 2.
That's fair. I read The Lord of Stario by A.J. Lancaster, and I feel like I enjoyed it. But this was a while ago.
I've heard of that one. I don't know if I read it or not. Maybe.
I feel like it was decent. But now I'm like, were there fucking cat ears? And I just like skim past that. I'm like, no, there's not cat ears. I DNF'd, sadly. This one kind of like hurt. Sight Unseen by Alexis Marie. This is the author who wrote Measure of a Man, which In a Day's 22.
You have raved about Measure of a Man for years.
Yes.
Like it comes up a couple times a season.
Yes. Yeah. I have spent so many hours reading and or listening to that book. And there was just something about it. I don't know if the editors really wanted her to pare it down, because I think it's only like 350 pages.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, it's like tight. But there's just something that's lost in the writing style because of that. And there's like too much introduced all at once without like sufficient, like, because when you introduce so many things, you either have to like explain what's going on or establish some kind of vibe first that you're like, ooh, I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, where am I? This is interesting. Or you like explain everything up front and you're like, okay, like I understand what's going on. Neither of those two things happen. I'm like, no. Yeah, so that was a DNF. Maybe I'll try it again, but I don't think so. The Raven Scholar by Antonia Hodgson.
I am so mad about this one because this has been on my TBR, and when you said you had started it a few weeks ago, I had hopes.
Yep.
And then you crushed them all.
Yep. This will be a pick of the week episode, but dog, if you're a romantasy reader, don't even fucking try it. It's not romantasy. It's whodunit in a fantasy setting. trial dog.
But properly advertised in Barnes & Noble, because you can find it in the fantasy section.
Oh, good.
There
Thank
you
you. Okay, Barnes & Noble, good for you. You're like at 50 right now. I, again, am like tucked back into my Hermione, hidey hole, and I've listened to and loved Teach Me How to Forget by Scullymurphy and Creep by Croft is Procrastinating. Both super cute, but low stakes, nothing much going on, just cute romance. Yeah.
But that's sometimes what you need as a palate cleanser for all this other, I don't know. Have you heard or read Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh?
I have not.
Okay, I only tried this one because it came up as a, hey, Amazon or HBO or somebody picked this up to turn it into a movie. And it was apparently huge. I don't know what to compare it to, but it was like the teen contemporary romance of like the early 2000s, 2010s. So I was like, oh, I love that period. Let's try that.
Sign me up.
Takes place in like early 2000s, 2004, 2005.
My friend loved this. She read them all.
It's got rave reviews.
Yeah.
It's dual POV.
No.
But I tried. And it's about a, high school girl who's mercilessly bullied. So much so that she has to be transferred schools. So she's transferred to this private school after like her family agrees. You're suffering. We need to put you somewhere else. And she's this petite, tiny, stunning.
As always,
she's bullied because she's pretty. Because that's true. Sure. And she meets a rugby player, I think. Who
can't be football anymore.
Who is at this private school is like kind of like a joke because he's got his career already set. He's got like deals to go play nationally. He's 3 or 4 years older than her. They meet and it is a typical high school romance. But I could not. I tried. I gave it how much? I tried like a quarter of it.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Like I read through his perspective, but it is definitely pick me. Teen girl wish fulfillment. Like, oh, the only thing that's in this boy's head is, oh, he thinks I'm pretty and I want to protect her and save her, but I can't be with her because I'm too old. Oh, and the girl, oh, nobody loves me and I don't know if I'm pretty or not. I could not do it. But like, maybe 13-year-old me would have been all over this.
Yeah. That kind of brings up an interesting point. I feel like we have definitely aged out of some of these books that just like break the realm of possibility, like dog. Because that's how I felt about that TV show. What was it? The German one.
Maxton Hall.
Where it's like, okay, sure.
This is Irish Maxton Hall.
They're Irish too.
Yeah. It takes place in Ireland.
Love. But I feel like there might be something to be said because like when Twilight came out, like that appealed to the people who were like going through it. You know what I mean? That maybe there is something to be said about some of these like TikTok sensation books that we're both like, what the fuck is this?
We're not the target audience, man.
But maybe if like, 15, 16-year-old us had a podcast, we would be like fucking, we would have like 8 episodes.
This is the gold standard.
Each book would get its own, like...
It would be like another Crown Duel session where it's like 5 hours per book.
We're like going through like page by page. So I mean, like maybe there's something to be said. Like it's like an interesting, like maybe this isn't for us.
Maybe they're just bad. I don't know.
Honestly valid. It could be a little bit of both. But it's like interesting because like what's the equivalent of like Twilight? Because that was just such a that was people's whole personality.
But I know there was plenty of grown-ups who were all up in that Twilight business.
That's true. That is kind of interesting.
Same with Hunger Games. Same with Divergent.
Interesting. I don't know that I like that. We're going to simmer on that one.
And I would argue that Tamora Pierce's books are definitely YA, written for younger people, but they're still very readable as adults.
That's true. So what was it particularly that you didn't like?
I think it was probably a combination of the dual POV because sitting in this pretend boy's head where all he's doing is thinking about this girl, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like it seemed, I don't want to say unrealistic because part of the appeal of the romance genre is, this doesn't happen in real life.
People aren't like this.
It just seemed very implausible in the sense that like this tiny, like, because he says like, oh, she's beautiful, like stunning in like an elfin way, and like why is she like, and the bullying and abuse is like very exaggerated. So I can see where it would appeal as like if you are in that headspace where you don't feel loved and you feel like the world is against you, having to read something like this, yeah, sure, but it just felt a little forced.
Yeah. There's what is that name? There's like a joke people make about fanfic sometimes. I'm gonna butcher it, but it's like the name of the pick-me goth girl who's absolutely beautiful and like makes her own clothes, but they look like runway clothes. Like just the quintessential of like everything that we thought about when we were like teenagers. But it's interesting because I feel like there's not really quite so much of that in Twilight, even though that is like the whole premise when you think about it. So it's interesting to think like what really divides those two.
Well, some of the comments on Twilight were like Bella is like aged up for a 17-year-old, which is what she had such like general vanilla appeal to everyone because like, oh, her mom parentified her and so she acts like an adult in a teenager's body.
Interesting. And that does not happen in this book.
These are
age appropriate.
Yep.
I love that. That's fascinating. I kind of want to try for like nostalgic purposes and then quit, you know?
Don't take this the wrong way. I think you might devour this one.
Oh, no, that's fair. I'll accept that. I know who I am.
Because I mean, it's that sports contemporary romance combination that I think if you love that, you might be willing to overlook some of the other stuff going on.
I could see it, but there's definitely moments where like I have full body cringes and I'm like, this is so like, oh yeah, the like secondhand embarrassment.
All right. We don't know what we're reading next.
No, it's a surprise to both of us.
Yeah, because we scrapped the Moonraven because we kind of collectively decided that we are going to not do full-length episodes on books we don't enjoy. It's kind of a disservice to, I feel like, the readers, because I don't want to be negative about the books that we're reviewing, because there's something for everybody, and even if we don't like it, maybe someone else will for different reasons. So we drew up a list of potential TBRs, and here they are.
Yep. Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This one has been getting like pretty rave reviews. We'll see, Rebecca Ross.
She didn't let us down on Divine Rivals.
Yeah. But on the second one, I was like,
yeah.
So we'll see.
Kind of revisiting her childhood a little bit. Speaking of YA books, Divergent and Hunger Games are both options.
Love. We're also considering Reign and Ruin by Jade Evans.
Because
something in Mages of the Wheel of Time, etc.
There was a very sweet YouTuber who requested this one, so it is on our TBR. I've never heard of this one.
Legend by Mary Lou. I love these books when they first came out. Very much in that same Hunger Games, Divergent, but like the lesser known cousin that's like hella good. So we'll see. Okay. I'm gonna maybe convince Jordan potentially. Probably not.
This Woven Kingdom by Tahereh Mafi. We've both read it already.
I think we both liked it too.
Yeah. And I think it's a trilogy or a duology. So that's also on the agenda. And then finally, The Girl of Fire and Thorns, which if you've been listening to us for a longer period of time, you probably know that Katie does not like this one.
Every time I see it, I think of Carly Rae Jepsen, and that's not, oh my God, that's not the author at all. It like combines cringe. And I'm like, oh no. We'll see.
Readers, if you have a preference for any of the ones that we just listed, please leave a comment and let us know. Yeah. No promises, because if we don't like it, we're just not going to read it. But
nope.
We will try.
Yeah. Yep. From our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page.
Hi, readers. Like what you've been hearing? Like and subscribe to us on YouTube or Patreon at Not Another Heroine to support our growing library and get access to exclusive bonus content.
Ready for the next page? We post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.